The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Armed Media, New Productions and its affiliates. Enjoy the show.
I can hear her heartbeat from 1,000 miles. Yeah, the heavens open every time she smiles. And when I come to her, that's where I belong. Yet I run into her like a river song. She gave me love, 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 crazy love. She gave me love, love.
Hi guys, welcome to Cosmopolitans with Lauren. I just wish that I had one of those shows like on Broadway, you know, the interaction shows where people, Anyway, see, because you know what? Why I want an interaction show is because there's always a blooper reel. But right now, I want to say that my producer brought his dogs, and did they poop in the house or did they just eat a lot of gaseous food? Because my house smells like dog. But not only that, I wish that I had one of those Broadway shows where the people in the audience can scream at you, because I do better at that than stage work. But we're getting a lot of feedback right now, and I'm looking at the stuff as while I'm stuttering along. I want to welcome y'all to Cosmopolitans with Lauren. I am very happy because I've had a long day, but I always feel like things happen for a reason. And I bitched and bitched and bitched, and I know there's a person out there listening, and she knows who she is. I was bitching about having to go to this thing this morning to my producer and my manager, and I ended up going to it. And this person that I met today was an amazing, awesome person who is, what I would say, well-connected. I love you, and you know who I'm talking about. That's not the reason I love you, is well-connected. But you know what? There's people that come into your life that just have that it factor, and you kind of realize it. And she was up there talking, and I was like, that's a it chick. And sure enough, as I went up past the door, she stopped me. I stopped her. We're both it chicks, and we combined it. And she's going to be on the show later this month, and I love her, and she's going to have a lot to talk about. But another it chick is, I hope y'all all got your drinks together for my redheaded fiery friend, Jessica, who I adore, who we met on social media. And I'm like one of those nerds that, who are all your friends? They're friends that I made on Instagram or Facebook. I'm a nerd. What can I say? But she's amazing, y'all, and she's beautiful, and she's talented, and I love her to death. And we ended up texting all on Saturday night and Friday night, and she's got a Marilyn that's listening right now. You're probably jealous, but she's like one of my new BFFs. So Jessica, are you there?
Yes, I am. Hi, how are you?
Hi, Jessica. Okay, now I'd like my guests to introduce themselves. So Jessica, tell me a little about yourself.
Okay, my name is Jessica Felice, and I am a film actor and voiceover artist, as well as a stage actor. That's really it. I'm in Baltimore, Maryland. That's about it.
You're like, oh God, she's going to ask me questions, right?
Honey, the magic of live radio.
Well, no, it's okay. I got plenty of stuff for you. Okay, now Jessica and I met because I do believe in social media. A lot of people don't. Like my dad was over here tonight going, I don't believe in it. I think it's the way terrorists connect with each other. So I'm like, I don't. I think it's a great idea. But Jessica, tell us a little about what your films are and what your genre is and what you enjoy doing and how you fell into film work.
Oh, wow. A lot of people tend to label me as a scream queen, which I am, for horror and whatnot. I do a lot of supernatural thriller as opposed to like slasher type films, but I'm very happy to be called a scream queen. I'm very honored because the fans are pretty hardcore. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I'd never like to be fully labeled because it can limit you, I feel. But what got me into film work, honestly, for the longest time, I thought I was going to do stage work. I thought I was going to move to New York. I thought I was going to do Broadway, and that was all I thought about growing up. I've always known I've wanted to be an actor. My dad was studied broadcasting as well as theater as well, so I kind of got the bug from him. And he was a wonderful mentor to me. He passed, but he was just my first like real, mentor. But it started off with me doing theater. I, did community theater when I was really little. I did camp and school, and then I started taking acting classes when I was about 13 to 18 in high school. Took drama all through high school, and then I went to, took a year off, and I did a children's theater tour across the country, and, and then I transferred, and I ended up going to college, and I got a BA in theater and did theater all through that. So I was thinking theater all the way. When I graduated, I did some voiceover work and extra work in film, because I was curious about it, but I didn't really think much about it. Then someone asked me to audition for something, and I was like, I don't know if I really know much about film acting. And I took a class. I contacted a professor who happened to also be an award winner for Sundance. He won for a documentary, which is really cool. And I ended up taking his class, and he had me audition for him, and I was cast. And I kind of haven't looked back since. I've been kind of just doing, I started off doing student films, and then independent films and TV spots, and, I continued with the voiceover work because I still love that. But the bug kind of got me. I discovered while I'll never lose the love for the stage, that linear aspect and the live, the energy you get from the audience is just, there's nothing like it. But at the same time, I discovered that I really loved the subtlety of camera. And I loved it just felt very organic to me, which I know is a very overused word in this industry.
I know, and because I always say that. Go ahead.
It has to be organic. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's just, it's true because it has to be real. That's basically the gist of it in black and white. It has to be real. You have to be in the moment. And, you don't have to reach a crowd or an audience that's way, way back. It's there in front of your face, sometimes inches from your face, and it has to be believable. And I've always loved telling stories, and I love living these crazy lives, of characters that, I can create. And I love to be creative, and it's just something that's really, I don't know, stuck with me. It's just, I've never seen myself doing anything else. It's all I've ever wanted to do. As cliche as that sounds, it's all I've ever wanted to do. So
that's kind of where that started. Because I do feel like what drove. We're gonna remind me because somebody walked off with my pen. There is like 15 dogs running around my apartment. People brought their dogs to do the show. I'm just saying, just FYI, staff who bring their dogs.
I hope they're cute.
They're good, but some of them are the size of werewolves.
Oh my God.
They're like between my legs right now sniffing. So I'm just like trying to find a pen and thin dogs off. So before we start, I wanted to say that what drew you into, because I know with my daughter and me, I kind of felt a little like I don't know, a little different, I guess. Growing up, everybody thought I was the same as them because I played tennis and all this other stuff, but there was some kind of urge in me that was a little different, and that's kind of why I got into like I had actually, don't ever do this, people, but back in the 70s, and I'm shaming myself on my age, in the 70s, your parents handed you a Ouija board and like walked off. Like my parents left and go, here's the Ouija board, do this all night, meanwhile we've attached 17 demons to our house, which, I've had one of my girlfriends that's on, that's a major writer for Supernatural. It's like, that's the worst thing. And I was like, I know, but in the 70s it was really big. But in what drew you to that darker side of like, Supernatural? Because there is a difference between the slasher movies, which I don't enjoy at all because there's nothing behind that. Yeah. But, and the Supernatural. So what drew you to the darker side of things? And did you develop that earlier on in life? I mean, was it something that evolved, or did you feel it right away that that's your genre that you wanted to go to?
Well, I mean, I'm a fan of a variety of genres. I never like to, like I said, loop myself into one thing. I'm a big fan of fantasy. I'm a big fan of supernatural thrillers as well. And sci-fi. It's kind of all three of those are kind of my favorite genres. I couldn't pick. It wouldn't be fair to the others. Well, I mean, growing up, honestly, I was very shy, and it's funny. I still kind of consider myself to be a shy person, believe it or not.
Me too.
I mean, I think a lot of artists are, and you get into where you're in your comfort zone, which a lot of times is performing or, being outside of yourself in some ways. But at the same time, it's still extensions of who you are because you're creating them from your mind and your own memories and whatnot. But, to whatever people's process are for their roles. But, I mean, I've always felt when I was younger, especially, I felt like I was an outcast. I never quite felt like I fit in. I always felt a little different, and I felt sometimes, outside of my little circle of friends, I felt other people thought that way too, unless it was just my insecurity creeping through. But I feel like that has really kind of aided me in the work that I do because it makes me very hyper aware of people's emotions and sensitivities, if that makes any sense. I don't know. I've just always really been drawn. I mean, we all have our own personal experiences that also allow us to be drawn to those, and I've had a few, a few of them without sounding like a lunatic or a crazy person. And I'm sure everybody's had at least something in their life that they might talk about or might not talk about, that they can say, oh, well, this is unexplainable. This is just something that you can't logically explain, and I just feel everybody's affected in one way or the other. And for me, I've just really been drawn. Instead of being afraid, I kind of embrace it through my art, if that makes sense. And I feel like that subject is not necessarily scary. It can be, but it's not necessarily because I've always had kind of a long, I don't even know where it began really. I just feel like I've always had a long life love for, the esoteric and the unknown. And I mean, that's all kind of part of it. So, I mean, I used to read a lot when I was a kid. Outside of acting, I would lock myself in my room and just read books for hours and hours and hours. And a lot of them
you enjoy, That's Joy does. So, like, are you alive? I laugh with my daughter that she's crazy glued to the sheets. Like that's what she does. She just reads and reads and reads. But I'm sorry I interrupted. But that's interesting that you said that because
it was just something I did, and I would just my mind was very active in my imagination. My imagination would run wild, especially reading these stories and just kind of I would live them in my head. And it's just something I connected with. I've always loved stories about witches or ghosts or vampires, although not the bloody kind. And I mean, I
know what you're talking about. No. I'm so into this
romantic kind. Like Anne Rice or that kind of type of thing. It's just something I guess because in some ways those types of characters or those stories are also sort of an outcast, if you will, because they're different and not everybody is into it. It's a little different. It's a little unknown. It's a little scary. And I tend to embrace that. I've always kind of, I don't know, been drawn to things that were sort of outside the box and ideas and it's just something I liked being different. I like people who are different. I'm drawn to it because I think if everybody was the same or things were the same, it'd be really boring.
Right. So, I want everybody to listen to that because I'm like, I do not fit the mold of where I live. All right. So let me ask you something in saying that, because I was all into that. Like I said, my parents dropped off the Ouija board and left for the day, but we weren't allowed to talk about what happened after the Ouija board experience. So my question is, were your parents very open with you about what the stuff that you were reading and the stuff you were doing? And because we have a lot of kids that, I'm a teacher and guys that are out there listening, I don't do the Ouija board, and it was just when I was a kid. But as a teacher, I see a lot of kids that feel like they're outcasts that and I did. I was in the popular crowd, but I didn't feel like I really fit it in there. And I was an athlete because that's what my parents expected of me, but I really didn't, well, yeah, I did fit in as an athlete, but I didn't fit in anywhere else. But,
You're still athletic.
yeah, I'm athletic, but
yeah.
I didn't feel like there was really anywhere that I fit in, and I really didn't find where I fit in until a couple of years ago, because I withheld that, and I was trying to stay in what everybody expected of me or what society expected of me. And what I'm asking you right now is, when you were younger, did your parents allow you to be who you wanted to be, or what was expected of you in that area where you lived, or the neighborhood that you lived, or the school that you went to, or did they allow you to be who you were?
Well, at the school that I went to, I was more, I mean, I hung out a lot with the artists and the little goth kids and the drama and art geeks, because I was very much into, like, I was in the Art Honor Society, and I would be drawing and just kind of disappear into myself, I guess, so to speak, with that. And when I was on stage, it's like the world just kind of vanished.
It ends, right?
With my parents, I mean, my mom had a Ouija board too, by the way.
They all did, guys. Everybody that's listening, our parents had them. Go ahead.
And I think we had brought it out at parties and stuff before, when I had sleepovers and whatnot.
Yeah, and tried to levitate people. Did Bloody Mary.
Feather, stiff as a board.
Yeah.
I don't know if you
yes, they're still doing stiff as a board. FYI.
Yeah. Oh. Oh, that's funny. Gonna say. But my mom was pretty laid back, I guess. My stepfather was kind of a hippie, and he was from Argentina. And I mean, they used to take me out with them. If this has any, I mean, they would go to clubs and stuff, dance clubs, adult clubs. I'm not talking like adult club, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Places where people would be drinking and dancing and whatnot,
Right.
21 and older. And they would bring me out with them. My stepfather and my mom used to do tango dancing and stuff, and I had interesting parents, I guess. But they would go out, and we'd listen to music, and it was crazy at times. He was a very interesting person. He passed as well, so I've dealt with a lot of loss, but which I'm sure has also affected me and as a performer and as a person.
Yeah.
But then my dad was very supportive with what I read. My father was a huge avid reader as well, and as well as into theater and film. Every week I would see movies with my dad. So while I didn't think I would be doing film, I was very influenced by it. We'd either go to the stage or we would see films, and more films than theater, because theater was very expensive. Right. So we would rent movies, go to movies, sometimes 2 of them every Sunday. My parents were divorced, but every week, like clockwork, I would do this with my father, pretty much till he died. He was a little conservative, but I mean, he tolerated. I think he thought I was a little odd, but he loved me and respected that. And I feel like you, really the last 10 years, I've been kind of coming into my own since college. Like I feel, between photo shoots and because I've done some glam shoots and different things where it reveals I'm like a sexier type side, because I always kind of was shy. So to kind of get me out of my shell, I did a lot of these, and to get me comfortable in front of the camera as I started to do more film work, I just kind of I did these things. So yeah. I feel like I'm rambling. I'm sorry.
No, you're not rambling at all. But it is true. As you get older, when we're in high school and we're in our 20s, it seems like we're so pressured into being what people want us to be and what they expect. And as you get older, and you get to be a fossil like me, you really just
Stop.
don't care. Well, you just don't care. I mean, I just don't care. I mean, like, as long
you
as
just don't care as you get, yeah.
But like I say, as long as I lay down at night, and I lay down at night knowing I'm not going to have anybody call me and say, you said this, that, and the other about me, or I actually tried to perform something good for somebody, that's really all I care about. I'm not going to fit into the mold. And you know what, people, as soon as I stopped living for everybody else, and I decided that I'm just clearly not fit in to the mold that everybody wanted me to fit into. It wasn't working for me. I wasn't happy. And as soon as I just admitted to that and closed those doors, I started walking through the doors that were open. My life has gone great, and I get to meet great people like Jessica, but the opportunities that have opened for me have been because I quit living this life of what people expected, and that's not what our show's about. Obviously, we're talking about Jessica and stuff, but part of Jessica's, I feel like your avenue and your path has been, finding yourself, and you're creative, and typically creative people are kind of shut down early in life because we feel deeper, we look different, we act different, we react different than other people, we feel, and so you're quickly shut down, and you're supposed to fit into this mold. And
Right.
the beauty of it is that I can't tell you, when I lived in Los Angeles and I was, a model and actress, and my daughter was an actress, and we were rooming with a lot of big name people, the stories that they were bullied, or the stories that they didn't feel like they fit in, and this, that, and the other, because for some reason, it's when you're in that lower class, not the lower class. I consider myself like a D actor, a D radio show host. But when you're beginning out, people don't give you the recognition. When you're like a Meryl Streep, they give you the recognition.
Right.
So you're kind of looked down on until you get to the Meryl Streep age,
Right.
But you know what? You've stopped you're stopped worrying about what people think. And I'm so into the supernatural and stuff, and I remember my dad going, put those books up, don't look at it. Why are you looking at those books? Don't let anybody see you check those books out, the 13 Alabama Ghost and stuff like that. I was so into that, and my daughter's been really into that. My son is not so much, but I'll let my daughter explore whatever she wanted to, and that's why I asked that question. It's because a lot of people just shut that down, and they lose their creativity because they're shut down. And don't you feel that? I mean, have you come in contact with actors that are like, all of a sudden they were shut down as a kid, and rather they've come out of their shell, or they've had to go undercover as trying to pursue their interests?
Oh yeah. Well, for the longest time, I mean, my whole family on my mom's side, and a lot of the people, because I don't really talk to my dad's family as much, but they're all, you need to work behind a desk, you need to, a job like your mom, you need to do this, you need to do that, don't do that, you have to do something to back you up. And it's all I've ever wanted to do, and I just, it was tough. And then you talked a little bit about bullying, and I actually did go through that. I was bullied pretty badly through school for up until maybe 10th grade, and then it kind of died down, and I started to kind of fit in more, as you say, when you start to kind of come into your own a bit. But I do feel that a lot of people who are indeed true artists, or have the nature of an artist, whether it's fine arts, performing, whatever have you, whatever form of art they create with and express themselves with, I do feel a lot of times they don't feel like they belong. They do feel a little bit off and a little bit unique, and are on their own a bit. And it is a beautiful thing. And it's funny you say that, because a lot of the characters that I tend to play are broken in some fashion. And maybe it's because I'm drawn to it because perhaps at the variety of points in my own life I felt that way. I felt broken and lost. But they're these characters that have deeper meanings behind them, where there's layers to them, that they aren't always what they appear to be, like, for example, I know when I was younger, I had bad acne, and I was very pale. I'm still very pale, but I was teased horribly. I mean, I was called ghost. I was teased for everything you could possibly tease for that. You look back and you're like, what are these kids thinking? Mm-hmm. But, and the way kids are bullied now, it's hyper. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's because of the social media. It's now magnified. You see how kids are treating each other. People didn't see it as much because, it wasn't as common because of that. It wasn't all over the place. It wasn't nationalized because of it. But, yeah, I do. I feel that. And I do feel a lot of kids hold back because of parental guidance or religious beliefs or whatever have you. I feel that they hold back because wanting approval of other people rather than looking into themselves, and because life is so short, what they can strive to become. You know, it's just it's sad, and I think it's really important to kind of discover yourself and explore the best in you, if that makes any sense.
It does. And I talk on my show a lot about like people that are, I feel the most beautiful people are those people that have been broken and have risen to the occasion. It's the people that have lived a life where they haven't gone through challenges and they haven't endured pain, and that have no empathy for other people, that I don't get. I mean, I may have been that person a long time ago, although I've lived a really challenged life, although people would look at my resume on paper and say, oh, she's perfect. Well, really not. But I have gone through so many challenges, and I really feel, and I have empathy for other people, and I have feeling, and it's those people that are broken that are able to channel into those deep emotions to, I feel, personally speaking, I think that's why Van Gogh cut his ear off, but you know, who am I to say? But you know, those people that feel really deeply and are emotional. I mean, we need accountants to do our books. We need bankers. We need, this, that, and the other. But we also need artists that feel emotional, that can do these paintings, that can write these novels that you want to, fall into, and can watch these movies that you want to fall into. And, that's the beauty of it. We're all so diverse. Right. And it takes people like us, even though, you're bullied or, you don't fit into the mold, to create the life that all of us enjoy. I mean, if it's those people, guys, that are writing those movies that you love to fall into, that are actually probably the people that y'all didn't understand in high school, the bankers or the the tax accountants or whoever, entrepreneurs. We're the people that you didn't understand in school. And I just want parents to understand that you need to just let your kid be who they're supposed to be. Am I going to a commercial break? Is that why you're hovering? Okay, well, he hasn't said so. Okay, we're on live. So he hasn't said anything yet. Okay. So we're good. So when I just chit-chat you off for, I just take a little break. But I mean, I feel like it is important for parents because, I was raised in a very religious home, and I wasn't, like I said, I was, skirted into being a different person. And now my dad finally accepts. It's really funny that, I'm at the age that I am, and I've been divorced twice, which we all talk about. But the fact of the matter is that for a long time, even though I was divorced, and even though I had, movies out, and I had done these major campaigns and stuff like this, my dad was like, "What? She's a school, she teaches school, or she teaches Sunday school, or she does this." I'm like, "Hey, Dad, I have a #1 rated talk show." He didn't want to talk about that. It's so that I think it is important, and I'm glad to see that you were saying that your parents gave you that openness, because I came from the other side, which I didn't, and had to fight to get to where I was, and you're saying that you were given that ability.
A little bit of everything. More from my father and my mom. My stepfather he considered himself to be Mr. Hippie Man, listen to Grateful Dead, listen to the Beatles. I mean, he was just like really into that. But at the same time, he also was somewhat religious. So I did have some religion. I had Christianity and Judaism both thrown at me. Growing up, and it just made me kind of like, and I rarely ever talk about religion. I kind of try to stay away from religion and politics.
And I do too. Yeah, on my page, you'll notice people. I did one thing as a joke, and I just got slammed. It was like, it's a joke.
Yeah. So I'm not dogging anybody for their religion, but I know it was thrust down my throat a few times, and he found it. He was very artistic himself, but at the same time conservative in that respect, where I wasn't sure if they supported me at that time. My mom really came into it more in college, later on, and now she fully supports me. I love my mom. She's one of my best friends, but it's just, and we're pretty close. But at the time, growing up, I think she was worried, because a lot of people wanted to do that and people would fail. And I think they didn't want me to go into something and set myself up for failure. But I mean, you have to have a thick skin. And I guess at the time it wasn't as thick, but I'm getting better about it. I'm trying to become more savvy about the industry.
I don't know if you ever get, like, I had something happen today. No. That's why I was like, my live feed, I didn't look so happy because I've been in this industry forever, and I got sideswiped today, and I was like, I'm really bummed out about it. I don't know if you ever, because you're a lot like me. That's exactly what my business partner and my manager and my producer said. He looked at your picture, and he goes, oh my God, she looks like somebody that you could, like, be best friends with. She actually kind of looks like you. And I was like, oh, I have to go to a commercial break. I have to cut that off. Okay, we'll be back in just a minute. Hold on, guys.
Are you hungry?
He's giving me a
know
big
the
face.
signs. Uncontrollable yelling.
Why aren't you egg rolls?
Hallucination.
Sushi.
Pants discomfort.
I hate you, pants.
Hangry. It can happen to anyone. Fortunately, there's E24, the app that tells hunger to shut up.
Egg rolls. Thanks, Snoop.
E24. In my medical opinion, it's the best way to order food online, baby.
Hey everyone, as you all know, summer is now here and everyone wants sexy summer skin. I'm partnered with Rodan & Fields, the #2 premium skincare company in the US. We have some fun treats for you guys. Check out my website at www.ewinters.myrandf.com. But wait, there's more. Join as a preferred customer to get 10% off and free shipping for all these amazing products that I'm currently obsessing over. Or email me for a free mini facial or free consultation at ewintersrf@gmail.com to get your sexy summer glow. Hey everyone, I want to tell you all about an amazing salon, Joyce's, located at 132 Ferry Street in Everett, Massachusetts. Joyce's specializes in the latest techniques in coloring, styling, cutting, and beach waves. Joyce's features Sukesha all-natural nutrient products and organic color. Joyce's full-service spa and salon, located at 132 Ferry Street, Everett, Massachusetts. 617-387-6688, specializing in you.
Hey there, all you creepy people. This is Kevin Wayne from Portland, Oregon. You're listening to Armed Radio, home of the big guns.
Hey Dan, how's the day going so far?
My day couldn't be better. You pull up less than 3 minutes after I open my Lyft app, and how do you greet me? With a kind hello? Just delightful.
Great. Care for a cookie?
A cookie? A chocolate chip cookie? You know, I'd love one.
Sure.
Hey, let me ask you something. How did you know I love this song?
I mean, come on, it's the Cold War kids. Everybody loves them.
Whoa! Who taught this guy how to merge? That was a fantastic merge!
Couldn't agree more.
That's it? That's all this costs? What's this thing running on? Smiles and high fives? You son of Mike, I love you!
Thanks. Have a great day.
Lyft. Driving you happy. Just download and go.
I can hear her heartbeat from 1,000 miles. Yeah, the heavens open every time she smiles. And when I come to her, that's where I belong. Yet I run into her like a river song. She gave me love, 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 crazy love. She gave me love.
Hey guys, we're back to Cosmopolitans with Lauren and my friend Jessica. And Jessica, where were we? Because we were chatting when you were off the air, when we were off the air, people, and I can't remember where we were. Do you remember where we were?
I think so. We were basically just talking about how people sometimes aren't supported. They can be outcast or feel a little different or a little unique, and it's important to allow people to be their own. And develop their own special gifts or artistic abilities and whatnot, if that's who they are, and allow them to be themselves. So something like that, right? Am I right?
You're right. And you know,
pay attention.
More than I, apparently, because I feel like that a lot of people, suppress that, and apparently, are you going somewhere? We suppress that, and a lot of us try to perform to be mathematicians or entrepreneurs and stuff, but you can always pursue. I don't know how many things I get on people that are trying to write books or people that are trying to do plays, or you can always do things on the other side. So the parents that are clamping down on their child because they want them to be like these, I'm going to get hate mail because I'm about to say this, that the Japanese, Chinese moms what is it called? The tiger moms. Ooh, I just rubbed my glasses across the microphone. Sorry, guys. Tiger moms that want their kids to be the, perfect and this, that, and the other, and you've got to just, roll, and you're going to have to perform and make this, that, and the other. You can slack up on them, because actually studies show that people that are allowed to explore their creativity actually perform better in their jobs than other people that are stifled and not able to do what they, to have a stifling off as a painter or writing or, enjoying other activities. So it is a positive thing. And it is funny how people like you and me connect, because I connected it immediately when we touched base. I was like, she's a girl I like, and like even my producer said, she's somebody you look like you would get, have something in common. And it's hard to open up when you have this creative side that people don't understand, that living around you don't have. It's hard to open up and explain to them why you want to explore this, why you want to act, or why you want to write about, Sydney, this is for you, Sydney Fisher, why you want to write about Ghost, or my other friend Jay, who likes to listen about serial killers. It's hard to explain to other people why you understand or you relate to that. We're all built differently. Don't you feel like that?
Of course, absolutely. But I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing either. I mean, yes, of course, I love being around, personally anyway, love being around open-minded people and people who, can express themselves whatever way they choose, as long as they don't hurt people. I mean, I'm all about it. But, if everybody was the same, it would, like I said earlier, it would be a very dull place. So it just kind of makes the world go round that we are different and unique. I've never been one to kind of follow the herd and be a sheeple person, So,
yeah, I haven't either. Apparently, that's why I'm divorced twice, people. Just FYI. But no, and I'm totally agreeing with you when I'm saying like the people that, like the when I said something about the serial killer, listening to it, well, because people may look at that strange, but once you get down into it and talk to them, you realize that they want to be the CSI, the CSI investigator. There's reasons behind why people are interested in stuff, and I just feel like as a person, as a child and as a young adult, I was so stifled off about what I was truly interested in or what I really wanted to be in. And, even sitting here, I'm so blessed, people, and I'll say that 1,000 million times, and I get down on my knees. I will do whatever I need to do. I am very blessed to have the radio show and the audiences that I have and the people that I'm able to touch, and I truly, truly try and help people. I truly cannot get to everybody. As my career has gotten bigger, I can't respond back to the people as much as I like to. I'm saying that, but it doesn't mean that I don't feel and I'm not so grateful for the life I've given. And one of the reasons that I feel like I was given this life is because of the part of me being broken and being challenged. And, one of the reasons that Courtney Cox and I were great friends was because Courtney Cox was, bullied unmercifully. And,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I was an athlete.
Probably get along with her, too.
Yeah, I know, right. And I was an athlete, and I just didn't, everything just rolled off my shoulders. I was just going to play tennis, I like everybody. I still do. I like everybody.
Yeah.
That just things that I didn't have these boundaries where I looked at people differently, but unfortunately, society has created these boundaries of what is perfection and what is acceptable and what's not. And I want to stress that again, is that it is the people that we see when we're younger, in high school, junior high, that are imperfect, that turn out to give us such gratification later in life, because they turn out to be these talented, maybe awkward, but talented, amazing people that we're able to look through their eyes to see a world that we've never seen before.
Absolutely. I also feel that it's important too that people learn from people like that too, and I think it's also important to show gratitude no matter what you're doing, because things can be taken from you. You know, you can have success, you have failure, you have whatever, and I find that the more understanding you are of other people, the more grateful and gracious you are as well. I feel that it's such a two-way street to be able to understand other people and walk in their shoes for a bit, because people are so judgmental, as you said. They're so judgmental, and they tend to judge people by what they're wearing, by, you know, whatever have you, what their makeup is, what they look like, what religion they are, what color they are, whatever have you. And it kind of blows my mind, because I've never really been that way. I've always looked at people just for people. Mm-hmm. If they're good people, great. If they're not, then, you know, stay away from them.
Right, right.
I feel like that's just kind of a basic principle that I think is good to follow by, you know. It's that whole, you know, whatever religion, whatever creed a person has, it's that whole kind of golden rule: treat people the way you want to be treated. And I think that that's just the gist of it. And if people kind of stop to smell the roses and take a look at the, you know, instead of judging a book by its cover, they open the book and look at the pages inside, then they can get a better understanding of the people around them. And I don't know. I feel that. I definitely agree with you.
Let me ask you something, like, because I always thought that I'd be wonderful for voiceover, because
you have such a cute voice.
That's what I'm saying. I have this baby
voice. She's kind of high.
I know. Like people call all the time and they'll go, "Can I speak to your mama?" And I'm like, "I am the mama." So no, I didn't know. I was like, I don't know how to get into voiceover. So for our audience, how would somebody get into voiceover? And how, you live in Maryland, people typically think, you have to live in Los Angeles or Atlanta or New York. How exactly did you get into the business being, you know, in those areas? I'm going to give you that.
Well, when I was in school, I know we had a workshop, because they taught a little bit of everything at my school. I guess they like people to be well-rounded. But I took a workshop, and then, of course, as I said before, my dad studied broadcasting, and I luckily kind of got the bug from him. But I started looking in local, I mean, every state, I imagine, has these local listings and things of auditions and open calls and whatnot for people, and people post voiceover auditions, and that's pretty much, I kind of just fell into it. I don't do it all the time, but when I do get them, they're really fun. I tend to prefer the character stuff, but I've done corporate stuff. I've done, you know, like government things where it's an industrial, you have to sign stuff, you can't say what you're doing, and then you do that. And then I've done commercials, and I did a video game, which was really fun.
Oh, Joy did that. That was fun. But we couldn't get to the level that she was at to ever figure it. We were like, gosh, she's like at this main level, but we couldn't get to level 7. So I'm sorry, interrupted. There we go.
No, it's fine. It's a lot of fun. And it's funny because sometimes voiceover, I think, pays better than film.
Yeah, they did.
Unless you're a big A-lister, you know, I mean, it does. And they're hours at a time. But, you know, like that government industrial one that I did, oh my gosh, I think it was 8 hours, and it was 3 days. My voice was gone.
That wasn't like Area 69, was it? Oh, is it 69? Maybe I was putting a subliminal sexual thing into that.
That's another show.
Okay, yeah. No, we'll have sex therapy with Jessica. I'm kidding. Area 59. What is it, Joy? 51. No. My daughter's looking at me going, "It's Area 51, dummy." Sorry, I don't know why I said 69. Just
number.
This is called Cosmopolitans with Lauren for a reason. But anyway, so I interrupted. So you got into it that way because you saw the postings.
Yes, and then I just kind of, I had a friend who does voiceover full time, and he had some equipment, and he came over and he helped me make a demo. Some of it were things that I had done, and then some things I just found, like public things, like you can look up something to make a demo reel, a voiceover demo reel with something that's published that you're able to use, so you don't have to, spend money for it or do royalties. Like, for example, on my demo, which I probably could do a new one, but I have been lazy. I haven't done a new voiceover demo. But I had something from Frankenstein, the book, the novel on there. I had something from the play from Dracula as Lucy. I did, a few things. And I read some kind of fake advertisements that they had on this site that, for voiceover people, if you wanted to put a reel together. I mean, you put something together or get someone to help you if you have somebody who's technical, because I'm technically challenged.
Me too.
I'm good at some things, not so much with that. But so I kind of put it together, and that's how I started getting voiceover. But my favorite, really, honestly, is doing the character stuff, which I don't get as often as I like, because you're not tied to your physicality, unlike film, where they kind of typecast you and everything, and that's another topic. But they typecast you in everything by your looks. With voiceover, if you can do it, you can get away with it. And you can do anything. I mean, you could be other nationalities. You can do anything. It's really fun. Yeah. I love it. I love it.
So do you have anything that we need to be looking on the lookout for?
Yeah, actually. There is, I actually pulled it up so I could tell you. There is a short film that is going to be seen. You mean like to plug a couple things?
Yeah, go okay. Baby, go baby, go okay. Plug.
Okay, cool. I wasn't sure. But it's called Laid to Rest, and it's a short, I think it's an 8-minute film, and that was a short film that I did. It was the last film I did, which is back in July, so I'm dying to get back on a set. But it's the second festival that they were accepted to. They were just seen at the Macabre Fair Film Festival in I think upstate New York, or no, in Long Island, I think. And this one is going to be premiering in New York City for the first time at the where is it? The Winter, I think it's, the Winter Independent Film Festival. And that's going to be, I can give you the address if anybody's in the area who are your listeners. It's at the Cinema Village on February 24th, and the slot, I think, is 9:45 to 12:45 a.m., so it's a late one. But for all you night owls who want to go to a film festival, I'm sure there's a ton of other projects that are going to be seen there. It's at the Cinema Village, 22 East 12th Street in New York, New York. Zip is 10003. And the next project that I'm going to be working on, I know sometime this year I'm going to be continuing Tales of Horror, which was an anthology with short horror films from all over the world. It was really cool. I don't know if you knew about that, but
I didn't know about that.
We shot 7 episodes. I was on 6 because I didn't join the series until the 2nd episode as the host. Her name was Lilith Death, and sort of an Elvira-ish host, but
that's what I was going to say. Yeah.
But more a little snarky, a little British, but definitely homage, of course, to her. And so we're going to be continuing that. I'm just not sure yet when, but I know that I was told we're doing that. But they're up.
And where do we see that? Where do we see that?
Those are on Vimeo, and I believe it's probably under Harvest Moon Motion Pictures. I've done a few projects with them, and the next project actually that I'm doing with them is called The Possessed, and I'm extremely excited about that one.
I am too.
Yeah, it's a supernatural thriller, and I don't want to give too much away, but there is an IMDb site, and it's you might be able to, I don't know if my IMDb is up on my website because it's being redone, so some of the links may be down, but my website is www.actressjessicafelice, Felice, Jessica spelled normal, .com. And some of my things and links to social media, as well as that. There's a link somewhere in there that'll get you to IMDb or get you to those pages on my site. But it's sort of like a Hellboy kind of feel combined with Jessica Jones and True Blood.
I love that. Oh, we love the True Blood.
No, it kind of has that kind of feel to it, and should be interesting because we're shooting in New Orleans. I've never shot in the South before.
Oh, you haven't?
I'm So no, it's my first time.
Oh
and
my
I'm
gosh.
So excited.
We'll have to go do a graveyard hunt. Like, I love New Orleans.
Yeah. I would love that.
What did he say? What'd you say? Like, can you, like...
Yeah, how about dinner at one of the fabulous restaurants?
Yeah, you're thinking about dinner.
Yeah.
We're thinking about ghosts. There's 2 different directions you can go there.
Yeah, dinner being the important one.
Nice.
Dinner and hurricanes is all you're thinking about.
I've been there one time when I was on tour. We were, I think, in Shreveport or something. I think it was Shreveport. And then we had 2 days off. And I remember, at the time, the little poor starving artist actors that we were, we went to Bourbon Street, and I remember people were getting beignets, and I remember people got these amazing, like, shots, and I tried a hurricane for the first time in my life.
Pat O'Brien's.
It was crazy. And I remember we couldn't afford to go in. Like, we got the company had paid for a dinner, so we got this great Creole dinner, and I had crawfish, and then we sat outside eating these beignets, drinking these shots and hurricanes and what have you.
Well, you know
what?
What we're gonna do is we're gonna eat a Jello shot off your friend's your next movie director's tummy. We'll just have a Jello shot off his tummy. Right there on Bourbon Street.
I think I pay to see pictures for that.
I think that on Bourbon Street you should flag him down and just, okay, all right,
that would be
I'm
so
having to
much
go.
fun.
They're tagging me out. All right, Jessica, love you, honey.
Love you too. Thank you so
I got
much for having me.
Okay, kisses, honey. I'll text you in a minute. I got to do a commercial real quick.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right. Hey, guys, I want to make sure that I tell y'all. I just have to tell the guys that I didn't do a commercial. Boys. Yeah, they're going to give me 5 more minutes to do an air commercial?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got it. You got it.
Thank you, Jimmy. I can't. Don't ask me questions, Julia, when I'm working. Can't wait to get an offer. As soon as I get this move. She's adorable. She's adorable.
Or do I?
She's so cute. Extra cheese awards and I'll be my best friend. Put it anywhere else. Jimmy, are you there? No, he's not there.
Yes, alive, right?
Oh, hey, guys, I didn't know I was live. Hey, guys, I just wanted to talk to y'all a little bit. If everybody's looking at my Facebook page, because you know how much I love everybody, there is a new crazy great book. It's called The Blood Ugly book. It's on Amazon. It's gotten 5 stars. It's amazing. It's basically about how to, and it's a positive thinking book. It's a guy that went through a difficult time like I did, and is probably not bitter like I am during my divorce. He's not so bitter. But he wrote this book of positive acclimates and things to think about and ways to view life differently than you would normally when you're going through a difficult time. And it really gives you the power of healthy, positive thoughts over negative thoughts. And it makes you want to achieve good things for yourself and go in a great direction. So if you look for Blood Ugly on Amazon, it's gotten 5 stars. It's incredibly great. I also want to give out a heads up to the educated consumers. And if you go to Facebook, Educated Consumers, they're on there. They advertise vitamins and supplements, which I live by because y'all that know me that know that I'm an older person and I live by my diet, my workouts, my health supplements, and everything else. And this gives you a way to be a informed person that is taking supplements, that is on diets, that's on workout plan, that's on a routine, that's going to be an informative person. I can't think of the word I'm looking for. I probably should have written these commercials out, right? But it gives you informative information so you can better yourself on what nutritional value, what supplements to take, how to be healthier, better, because now in life we're living longer, and some of us that are living longer, we don't have all our faculties about us, and our bodies are giving out even though we have an extension of life, and we need to keep our bodies healthy, our minds healthy, to live the extended life that we're living, okay? Instead of living to 90 and being in a wheelchair and can't think, maybe you can live to 90 and be walking in the backyard picking grapefruits or something. So that's what we're looking for. So that's why I want you to go to Educated Consumers on Facebook so you can, see what you need to be taking to be a better person. And while you're working out, you can wear your blood ugly outfits. All right, so that's my plugs because I'm the spokesperson, ambassador to those people. So, and the only reason I'm a spokesperson and ambassador to those people is because I believe in the products, because I'm all about health, beauty, and fashion, people. Please join me tomorrow, next Thursday, on Cosmopolitans with Lauren, and I'm really excited. I'm not going to say it, but I will tell you that as a guest that it's going to be a little controversial. It's going to be it's that kind of 48 hours. Actually, it's kind of deeper than that. Let's say it's kind of a Oprah moment or something like that I'm going to be doing, not the typical Lauren stuff. But I want you to join me. Always go to Cosmopolitans with Lauren. Go to Lauren Damridge on Facebook, and I am having a designer do my webpage for my fashion blog. So I love y'all. I hope y'all have a great night. And am I off the air because producers and directors are all walking around the place and saying stuff to me? And are we still on air? We're still on air.
Yes, you are.
I'm still on air, so I have a few more minutes to talk. I'm going to talk about why I'm on the air, and this is why I do great at live work, because I didn't know I had 3 extra minutes, but I do, so I'm going to make the most of it. People, I love having on Jessica because as a teacher and as somebody that also teaches clients fitness, and as being a radio show host that interviews people all the time in fashion, and being a mother of older children, I realize that there is a lot of ideas that people get in their head that we are all supposed to be almost like an assembly line. We're all supposed to look the same, think the same, and be the same. And I think that I'm not going to get into political views right now, but I think that that's a problem with us politically speaking, is that everybody just assumes that everyone has got to be on the same assembly line to live cohesively with everybody. And I'm saying that that's not always so. However, it's not so. However, we all need to just talk. We need to get along. We need to sit down and converse instead of acting out. I consider it bullying in high school. I consider it bullying in elementary school, bullying in 20s and 30s and 40s and however else. Bullying is taking other people's sides and bashing them. Let's just sit down and listen to each other. You may not agree with them, but it makes a lot more sense than sitting there screaming at them or calling them names. So we're not all created the same, and that's exactly what the whole thing and the theme I feel like Jessica and I talked about was that we're a little bit different. We don't really fit in, but we have a lot to offer. So maybe your next door neighbor you don't understand. Well, I'm hoping that it's not because they're a serial killer or anything. If they're a serial killer and like they're Dexter or somebody, you need to call the police. But if they're not, then you need to try and be understanding and try and understand the fact that we're all a little different, but that's what makes this whole world function. That's what gives you your art, gives you your bankers, gives you your accountants. Listen to Cosmopolitans with Lauren. I love y'all. Kisses and hugs. Everybody like that feed, because the more y'all like me, the more spokesperson people I get. All right. Good night, y'all. Bye, y'all.
I can hear her heartbeat from 1,000 miles. Yeah, the heavens open every time she smiles. And when I come to her, that's what I belong. Yet I run into her like a river song. She gave me love, 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 crazy love. She gave me love, 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 crazy love. She got a fine sense of humor when I'm feeling low down. Yeah, when I come to her.